Nerds, to another glorious episode of the Nerd Rundown podcast, where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I'm one of your co-hosts today, Erik Hare. My co-pilot for this show is the big brain, Morgan Santo, aka BigMorg 3000. How you doing today, Morg?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here for episode 2 of season 2.
Deuces.
Deuces.
We get a lot of deuces, so this is season 2, episode 2 in the year 2022.
That's just deuces everywhere.
Too many deuces. So
hard to avoid those deuces.
Yeah. You can listen to us on all the major podcast services. You can find us on social media like Twitter. Apparently there's a TikTok thing. I don't know. That's Morg stuff. He's young and he loves that stuff. I don't know anything about it. I'm old. And then, of course, you can find us on YouTube at the Nerd Rundown on all those. While you're there, if you guys wouldn't mind, if you have a chance, hit the like button on our videos. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribe to the channel. And set that little bell button so that you get notified when we post new episodes and stuff, so you never miss a show.
Yes.
So make sure you smash the subscribe button, and then if you would comment on our shows if you've got questions for us, or if there's stuff that we talk about that maybe you're a little more passionate about, or maybe we bash something, or you've got questions for us, hit us up on the comment section. Also on the podcast stuff. So if you are an Apple subscriber or Google, you listen on those or whatever, you can review the show, and that really helps us. It kind of bumps us up so that if others are looking for a show, we come highly recommended. So if you could do that, it'd be fantastic. So we have a really fun show for you this week. We're going to cover some big happenings that kind of came out during the course of the week. We've got a few teasers, a couple of trailers. We've got some news on the Batman runtime, which was pretty crazy. Mission Impossible's getting pushed. Both Mission Impossible sequels are getting pushed. And then a beloved Christmas classic looks like it's going to be getting a sequel, which is like 30 years later, 40 years later or something. So, and then finally, we'll wrap up the show with a question from the NRDbox from the dear leader. Do we say dear leader? I guess that's Korea, but we can call him the dear leader.
Does that sound? I have a picture of him in my house, and I know if it gets taken down, something happens to me and my family.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Same with us. We've got one in the hallway, of our dear leader, Darren. So we'll wrap up the show with that. So,
yes.
So let's get going. So this week on the rundown, the biggest kind of news that dropped was from Amazon, which is something we've been expecting. But they finally gave us a title for the Lord of the Rings series. So this new series is going to be called The Rings of Power. So you saw they had kind of a teaser that they kind of dropped along with the name of it. So tell me more. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been excited for the show for a while. I know there's the fear of, will they do it right? Will they do too much CGI? Will they, those fears are understandable. To help squash those fears, I guess, quell those fears. Is that the right thing to say?
Right.
They showed I believe, which is supposed to be like the intro to the show, where you can see some molten steel or the material going through letters. And basically when the camera pulls out, after the water washes over it, you see the title, the rings of power there. And right. From what I understand in clips that I've seen, that it looks like you think they're doing CGI, but none of it's CGI. They actually poured it. The cameras are moving. They did some smoke and mist, and it's really neat. Which gives me a little hope that if they're willing to do that for just the intro, they'll go all out for the show. But I highly recommend seeing that intro. It looks really neat, and I'm excited to get more. I can't wait till we get an actual trailer, and I'll take more Lord of the Rings universe. I go watch that any day.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we get the quote, from the first movie. They kind of redo the quote from the first movie where I think it's what's her name? She plays the
I know who you're talking about.
I can't think of her name right now, but
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, where she does the voiceover, and she's talking about how the rings were forged, for each of the the elves got some, the dwarves got some, right, and then one ring for the Dark Lord, and so you get so then you get the that kind of quote was pretty cool. So I'm really interested to see how this plays out. I love that they're going really far back in time to really see how this is gonna play out, how it all kind of gets started, because that they were all seduced, they were all seduced into this, and so I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to play out. But like you said, if we go back to like Peter Jackson stuff, his practical effects, like the amount of
amazing
stuff that they went into with the practical effects for his, they built that village, the Hobbit, they built Hobbiton like a year before they actually started filming, so that it would have like all the stuff would be grown over, like it had been there for a long time. And that's that, to me, that that shows a foresight that you don't really see in a lot of pictures and stuff. So I agree with you. I'm hoping that if they've put the amount of work into at least the practical effects on this one, I think it's gonna be at least pretty exciting.
We're talking like almost 500 mil for the first season, so it better be there.
That's crazy.
If it's not a hit, we're not seeing a season.
Right.
I think they announced the season 2, but I don't think it'll happen if it's not a hit.
Yeah, and I don't know. They never really talk about. They never really talk about like their streaming numbers. Like you don't really get to see their streaming numbers, like you do with like, if something goes on ABC, you have a show that goes on ABC, you get your numbers from like, okay, this is This is Nielsen sends you the numbers and all that stuff. But like Amazon and all them, Jack Ryan was a hit, but and then I think the Without Remorse movie was probably did pretty well. But
I think this is the show that's going to kind of make or break the Amazon's Prime shows. I really think this is we're going balls to the wall, all out. Let's see what happens.
They're pushing their chips into the middle on this, and so that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that shakes out in the end. A lot of groups and organizations, YouTube, I think just this week said that they're not going to be doing any more originals, which is not too surprising, but it's they don't want to spend the money on it, because they did a bunch of original stuff, but nothing flew except for Cobra Kai.
Right.
Cobra Kai was the only one that actually took off and did really well. But then, they had to partner with somebody else to get it out there because it still wasn't as good.
Exactly.
So we'll see. it's going to be one of those crap or get off the pots for Amazon. I think you're right on that with the Prime stuff. So, second item on the rundown is going to be, we got a trailer for Disney Plus's Moon Knight, the MCU property. Wow. I mean, really, wow. I love Oscar Isaac. I love the dude. I did not dig the accent all that much, but holy smokes, I thought the trailer looked bonkers good, like crazy good. And that suit at the end, holy smokes,
that was awesome.
That was really cool. So what did you think?
I'm with you on the accent, but you know what? Keep doing it. I mean, we need more Americans taking British jobs.
Right.
Those Brits come here and take every job we have in the acting field.
The whole cast from Band of Brothers was English.
Yeah, the whole Walking Dead cast, Spider-Man. I mean, come on, we got two Spider-Men. So the trailer looked great. To be honest, I announced when I first came on the show, I'm a casual, maybe a step above a casual nerd fan. So I don't know much about Moon Knight. I looked into him, and from what I see, I guess his name's Mark Spector. He's the son of a rabbi. He joins the military. He becomes a Marine. He eventually gets into the CIA. Something happens to him. He gets left for dead in Egypt. He gets saved by some Egyptian god or something. That's where the power comes from. But the big thing I'm excited to see is he has DID, dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah.
And I love movies that do that well. I thought Split,
yes,
is one of my favorite movies because McAvoy is so fantastic in playing different characters. Whether that is a true representation of the disorder,
sure,
but he does a great job of playing these characters. So I'm excited to see.
Oh, McAvoy is amazing in that. Yeah,
he's fantastic.
It's amazing.
So. Isaac is another fantastic actor that I think will do it well. And I'm really excited to see how he does that. What it's like is if he's these other personalities, do they become the superhero as well? Or do you act completely different? But there's some neat things. I know there's some stuff about werewolves that could come into play. Ethan Hawke's character, what he's going to be. He's a no name at the moment and nobody knows what he is.
Seems like he's
some sort of
seems
cult
like he's
leader.
like a cult. Like it kind of feels like he might be like a cult leader of some sort.
That's what it's looking like.
Yeah. So,
and I mean, it's Ethan Hawke, so he's another one that. So I think this has a lot of potential. It's 6 episodes, which I don't mind. You can tell a good story in that time.
Yeah. Premieres March 30th. So coming up here, coming up here
March
pretty quick. Yeah. It really is. It really is. So I will definitely be. I'm definitely on for this one. I really am. I think it looks really great. It looks like it might be difficult to. At least for the trailer, it might be a little difficult to follow initially, but that's going to be probably just part of the tale. They're going to bounce around and do all that stuff. But I love the bit where he like runs out and he's like strapped to the bed. It's like, whoa, why would you strap yourself to the bed? Or why would what are you so afraid of that you would strap yourself to the bed in the middle of the night? So I thought it looked great. I'm looking forward to it. I think,
and I believe his suit is vibranium. What I've heard.
Really?
So I've heard that's, I don't know if that's in the comics or what. So if they play that, I'm interested to see how they do, because obviously, I said obviously, but I would guess Wakanda would know of him if he has the vibranium, unless it's some ancient thing he got from the gods. So I'm interested to see what they do with it, how they play it out.
Yeah, and sadly, we did get a little, there was some, so 2 days ago. So one of the supporting actors that's in the show, and we don't, there's no real clarity as to what his role in the show is at this particular point, because like I said, we just got the trailer, but French actor Gaspard Ulliel, I think is how you pronounce his last name, but I may have butchered it, but he was tragically killed in a skiing accident. So IMDb has him in all 6 episodes, so it seems like he has at least a pretty decent role. He was. So that's pretty sad, and our heart goes out to his family, and and everybody on the Moon Knight cast and crew, who worked with him. Our thoughts and prayers are with you guys for that. So Moon Knight, can't wait. I'm really stoked for it. Yeah. So moving on from Moon Knight, we've got a trailer from Netflix, which we love to we love to bash the Netflix movie, because there's it's like I say, it's the outlet mall of movies, of movie studios. There's
always something a little off,
always something wrong. There's just just one thing that just isn't right. But we got a trailer for a movie coming out called Against the Ice, and it stars Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who, for those of you who are Game of Thrones people, he played the main, well, I consider to be the main villain at least for the first couple seasons, Jaime Lannister, and then it also co-stars, I don't know how much he's in it, the guy who played his father in Game of Thrones, Charles Dance, who is just a tremendous actor. But we got a trailer for that, and that looks like, I thought looks really, really good. So the premise of the movie is it's early 20th century, 1909. 2 explorers, they're on an expedition, and they get kind of left behind. So these 2 guys have to, kind of be on their own. And so it's Nikolai Coster-Waldau and this other guy, Joe Cole, and kind of having to survive in the wilderness and stuff. This one looks like it's going to premiere March 2nd on Netflix is when it'll get kickstarted. So you watched the trailer. What did you think?
Yeah. So I always go into the Netflix with a little bit of caution. I am excited for it. Nice thing is, it doesn't look like Jaime Lannister is going to have a sister in this movie, so we get to avoid a lot of that awkwardness. No, I'm excited. I mean, I love
if it doesn't have any any incest, I'm not really
right.
Down, so,
maybe it was a stepsister.
It could be.
But no, I always I'm a big fan of survival movies like that, where they're trying to do something. They're in these tough positions. They got to get out. They got to do brutal things to survive, taking care of wounds and things that, well, one, it's that time period anyway. Taking care of a wound is not is a death sentence in most cases anyway. They solve it. But no, I'm excited to see, do they make it? Do they make it back? Who knows? Do they literally have to kill each other? We don't know what's going to happen. So I love stories like that. And I think this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think so too. At least from a casting perspective, actors, they looks like they've got some really good people in really good spots. And it's actually written, the story is written, or at least co-written by Nikolai Coster-Waldau. So, and then it's directed by Peter Flint, who, I don't know if you've seen anything else. He did a documentary a while back called that was about the Beatles from like 2014 that I remember seeing, and it was actually pretty good. So
I remember this, I think, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, but I don't. This is like, I think, his probably first feature film that I've seen. So we'll see. But as far as I can tell, I think it looks, at least the trailer part looks pretty good. So I'm in on that.
I know a polar bear shows up, and I love people fighting bears. It always makes for a good scene. Right.
Yeah, the polar bears. It's like the zombies in Walking Dead. Right? We got to throw in a zombie reference, but whenever you need to amp up the tension, bring in a polar bear.
Bring in a polar bear.
That's how we do it.
The Leo movie, they brought in a bear.
Yep.
And that completely that amped up that story like crazy.
Yeah, right. All right. So now that since Darren's out this week, I can sneak this in and not be given too hard of a time. Although you can probably you'll probably give me a hard time for it. But we got a trailer for Picard Season 2. I was disappointed in Season 1 of Picard. I'll just say that, it was not what I had expected. It was not really what I was after, but, and do you have a lot of the Next Generation experience or Star Trek experience, probably past the movies or anything?
But most of my Star Trek experience is Chris Pine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Which is fine. It's not real trailer, Star Trek, but that's fine.
Yeah. The Season 2 trailer did look exciting.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. You go. Because it's your area of expertise.
Yeah. So we get. So for those of us for everyone who's watched, like the Next Generation TV series, there in the first premiere episode, there is an omnipotent sort of demigod type guy who shows up by the name of Q, and he represents an entire group of people that are like these demigod type people who are all omnipotent and kind of godlike, if you will, and they like to test different species to see how they react to certain situations and stuff. And so on the Enterprise's voyage with Picard and all the crew, that he puts them into a pretty difficult situation where they have to solve a tough problem and do the right thing and all that stuff. And so and then that character shows up, this Q character shows up periodically through the entire Next Generation series as he does, and puts them in different situations and challenges them to do different things. And so John, this is played by John Delancey. So I don't know if you know who John Delancey is. He's great. He's a really great actor, and he's got such a wonderful voice. And he plays that character so charmingly. He's such a disgusting guy. Like, he's such a jerk, but John Delancey plays him so well. Yeah, that you can't help but like him. So Q returns in Picard Season 2. We also get Whoopi Goldberg's Guinan character. It looks like she's going to be back, which, if you like that, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I happen to enjoy the Guinan character. I think she's intriguing, and she's good for Picard. So I'm hoping that they move back towards more TNG Picard than they did the first season. The first season, they pretty much like undid and made him into something that was not who he was on TNG. And so I'm hoping that they kind of pivot back towards the middle, but we'll see what happens. So I'll end up watching it, but yeah, so I don't know. It does look exciting. The trailer did look exciting, and
like I said, watching it, I was like, it looks cool. I don't know anything about it. I recognize some people that I know were on the previous Star Trek shows, but other than that, it looks neat. The idea of they're trying to get out of what they're in, but
and it looks like they go back. It looks like Q sends them back. Or there's something happens in the past. Q goes in the past, and so 2 years from now or something like that, and 2024 I think is what they said in the trailer or whatever. But yeah, so you got to solve some sort of problem or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just we'll see what happens. I don't know.
It's looking like based on the trailer, like the premises, somehow they get the Vulcans to do some mind thing to Picard as a kid to make sure he doesn't become the captain, so
I don't know
what happens if that doesn't happen, so we'll see.
Which is like that's a whole story in and of itself, right? What is it, the Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, I wish I was never born. It's like, oh, okay, well, snap, there we go.
What happens if
you never
don't
were
become this? Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody gets to see how bad things were. So, all right. So Picard Season 2, I'll watch it, but I'm hoping they do better than the first season. The first season was not that great. So we'll kind of move into like kind of a miscellaneous bucket here where we kind of quick hit on some stuff. But we got news of a runtime for Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves.
Leafs or leaves.
we get a runtime for the Batman. And so we got a runtime of 2 hours and 55 minutes. Morg, 2 hours and 55 minutes.
So that's a long movie. It's longer than Dark Knight Rises. That was 2 hours and 45 minutes. Being it by 10. And don't forget, Dark Knight Rises was the ending of the trilogy. This is it.
Yeah.
So, and this is the beginning of, we don't know what. This could be a one-off.
Yeah.
It could go into something more we don't know. I enjoy a longer movie because if it's good. So, for example, Spider-Man was, I forget how long, but it was a long Marvel movie.
It was 2 hours and 47 minutes, I think.
Okay, so when I walked out of Spider-Man, I was like, holy crap, that was 2 hours and some odd minutes. Like, it seemed to go quick. So they definitely have to pace it right. I'm a little, we'll see how they
2 hours and 28. 2:28.
Okay. So
it's still long.
Which is still long, but this is, so they got to pace it right. I know first test reactions and Matt Reeves and what everybody has said is that this is like a horror movie. So we'll see how they do that, because pacing is a little different in a horror movie usually, because you got to do the slow build-ups and the taking the time to investigate and look for things. So we'll see how they do it. But I will say I'm going into it with some high hopes, and I really hoping I'm not disappointed.
255 that's a big number, man. That's a big number. So I look at that and I think to myself, all right, that's at least two. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom twice during that movie. That's what I look at that. So 2 hours and 55.
Just peeing the soda cup.
It's gonna be tough. Yeah. Well, I just do the colostomy bag. I'll just have to, that together.
Get a bigger bag. Don't empty it.
Let's take a little bag. It's, I don't know, 255. That seems long. But, if that's how long it takes you to tell the story, then that's how long it takes you to tell the story, and
that's the thing. As long as it's good, people won't care it's long.
Yeah. I agree.
People sat through 4 hours of the Zack Snyder cut. So
yeah. And I have the scars on my arms to prove that. So
it took me 2 viewings to get through it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it did actually, me too. So I watched half of it one night, and half of it the next night. So it reminded me of you're probably too young, but back when VHS tapes, like you had like movies would come on. The really long ones would come on 2 VHS tapes. Like you pop in one, and then so you'd have the double. I remember Titanic was a double VHS tape.
Yeah, it was a double VHS tape.
So it was like, oh man.
But we'll see, as long as it's good. And I'll say there's been some rumors going around. I'll preface it as a spoiler just in case the rumors are true. So don't get mad. But the actor's name, who I just forgot that I was thinking of saying, he was in Eternals. He's the guy that can control people's minds.
I don't know who
Kroger?
Break. I know who you're talking about.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I'll look him up real quick.
There's been some rumors that he has filmed some scenes for Batman. And the rumor is that in the scenes he's filming, he's in a jail cell overhearing some conversations, and he starts laughing like a hyena. So the rumor is that they're propping him up to be the Joker. Now, this is all pure speculation and rumor.
Okay.
Alleged leaks, who knows what's true. The way they do these movies now is they know to hide things. They know how to fool people, film things that aren't really in the, they waste money filming things just to throw people off.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I mean, I think he could do a good job at it if he is a new Joker.
So he's supposed to be, his name is Barry Keoghan.
Very cute. As a Kroger.
Yeah, and you were close. Not really.
Had a cat.
Yeah, I guess so. He was in the Green Knight, which I have not seen yet.
I have not.
But he was in the Green Knight. He's also going to be, and he was in Dunkirk. He was in that. He was good in Eternals. I actually thought he was pretty good in that movie. And then he's also going to be, it looks like he's going to be in several episodes of the upcoming series Masters of the Air, which we've talked about previously. That's I think the 8th Air Force, World War II 8th Air Force movie. So that'd be interesting. I imagine that, again, it's another British guy taking American jobs, is what that sounds like. So we'll see. I'm pumped for this movie. Yeah,
and I'll say too, with a long run time like that, it makes me feel better spending the money on an IMAX ticket.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, all right, so actually, we're gonna switch. I got it a little out of order here.
We should switch it. Yeah. I think we should save the one for last.
Okay, so we got news that Mission Impossible 7 and Mission Impossible 8 are moving. So originally Mission Impossible 7 was slated for September 30th of this year, 2022. It has now been moved to July 14th, 2023. And then Mission Impossible 8 is moving from July 7th, 2023. So I guess it's just kind of backfilling that what that is for the next one. And so to June 28th, 2024. So back-to-back summer blockbusters for Tom Cruise. Well, I guess let's say back-to-back-to-back, because we're going to get Top Gun 2 this summer, I think in May. Top Gun 2, Top Gun Maverick comes out in May, I think, of this year. And then we'll get next year, we'll get the Mission Impossible 7, and then the following year, Mission Impossible 8. So Cruise is a busy man. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff in the can. I don't even know what he's doing right now. He's probably taking a break. Nah, he wouldn't be taking.
Oh no, he's probably doing something stupid and ridiculous.
It's crazy. I mean, the guy's just absolutely.
He's just preparing for whatever his next ridiculous stunt's going to be.
Did you see the video of him on the motorcycle for, I think it was for 8 for Mission Impossible? Jumping off the that jump.
Wild.
Oh, gosh,
well,
he did it like a bunch of times too.
He's just ridiculous. Well, did you see the one stunt he filmed for one of the new Mission Impossibles where he's on the wing of a biplane?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, he's on the wing of a biplane while it's up in the air and he's moving around and doing stuff. Like, the dude's psycho.
He's crazy.
Man, like, good for him. Like, to be doing that at, like, I couldn't do that now. And he's doing
I don't know. I mean, the guy is, he gets there was a while there where he kind of had it was a bad spell for him. Let's just say that he had the Oprah situation, and there was some other stuff that kind of complicated his life, but I got to tell you, man, if I ever were to meet that guy, I would just shake his hand and just say, thank you. I mean, thank you for doing what you do, just amazing.
He's good at what he does.
He's great at what he does. And he's awesome. He's an awesome dude, and he seems like a good dude. Like, and everybody that I've heard, talk about him seems like a really good dude. So I don't know if he's DJ level good, my boy DJ is
tough.
The best, but yeah. So
no, he's good. He does his own stunts. He's got a great story of it might have been the latest Mission Impossible where he's climbing up a rope carrying a cargo truck of stuff, and he's climbing up to the helicopter that's flying, and he thought it would be a great idea. He said, hey, don't tell the cast what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Because he falls and he catches.
Yeah.
And you just listen to the cast talk about it because they're like, yeah, they didn't tell us it was supposed to happen. So we're watching him and he falls.
Yeah.
And we all were like, oh God, we're about to watch Tom Cruise die because we didn't know that was part of the stunt. It's like, yeah, good. He's got a sense of humor.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah. I'm super pumped for the Mission Impossible stuff. Yeah. You know, they never disappoint. You know, they are fun for what they are. You know, if you're looking for, they don't insult their audience. They give them what they want, but they bring you something new and fresh each time. So, which I think is really, really the fun part of how those movies kind of go.
Yes.
All right. So last item on the rundown is a beloved Christmas classic, which is I believe you and I both have this movie in our top 3 Christmas movies, right?
I did not.
You did not? Okay. All right. Gosh, was it Brett? Maybe no. Anyhow, so A Christmas Story, Peter Billingsley's Christmas Story. This is per Deadline. Is apparently going to be getting a sequel. So the rundown on this one is that Billingsley will be back as Ralphie, and that apparently it's going to be dubbed A Christmas Story Christmas, and then apparently it'll be on HBO Max, I think, is where they're targeting it. The mom for the movie is going to be different. So it's I think the lady who played the mom is not available, or I don't even know if she's still alive or not. But so we'll see. It's going to be produced by Billingsley and his buddy Vince Vaughn. They have a group they do called Wild West Picture Show Productions and stuff. So they're going to be producing it. But I guess it's an adult Ralphie in the 70s. Or I guess it's the
70s, right?
Yeah. So it's going to be an adult Ralphie in the 1970s returns to his house on Cleveland Street to try and deliver to his kids a magical Christmas like the one he had growing up. I think he's probably going to say goodbye to his old man, you know.
I believe he's passed away, so they're going to have some.
Yeah, I know he has definitely passed away. So,
right.
So thoughts on this? What do you think? Are you a Christmas Story fan? Like,
of course I am. Now I will say I'm not a guy that can leave it on 24 hours, just because it's been a little too played out for me.
Sure.
I think 8-Bit Christmas, everybody was like, oh, that's like an updated Christmas Story.
Yeah.
This movie seems like they're doing a mix of Christmas Story and 8-Bit Christmas, based on the tones and the underlying themes they're going to be doing in this one is a lot like 8-Bit Christmas, and then they're going to mix in some of that Christmas Story humor. You know, this is a good segment for a segue to what we're going to do in the Nerd Rundown Presents some of the stuff.
Yes,
but I don't need this.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
Yeah. So coming up on the Nerd Rundown Presents, Morgan and I are going to go through a bunch of questions. It's kind of a top 10 nerd debates. And one of those questions is to reboot or not reboot, you know, or that type of stuff. So, and one of the other questions, I think one of the other things that we talked about was what are franchises that don't need to be franchises, you know, that type of stuff. So, this is a movie that nobody's asking for. You know, as much as I love, and I love this movie, I really do. I watch it every year. I think Bill and I had this on the same list together. Bill and I both were. Yeah. But you know, I think I love this movie. It's a classic, you know, and you're not going to get better than that. A big theme, and we've talked about it on the show multiple times, is how hard everybody's hitting nostalgia. You know, like nostalgia is really a big thing, and it's a big draw for people. I don't understand why. Maybe this is a commentary on culture right now as it is in kind of society that we're living in, which is there's a lot of change going on. And so I think people are making these movies that are nostalgic to allow people to be more comfortable with where things were or something. I don't know. I haven't fleshed that out in my head yet, but I think I'm not sure what's happening, or maybe we're just out of ideas and we just are going back to the well, too many times. But I love Vince Vaughn. I really do like Peter Billingsley. He does a lot of the stuff that he's in. He does a really great job with. So he was great in Elf,
Iron Man.
So, yep. So and I actually really enjoyed Couples Retreat. That was a really fun movie with Vince Vaughn, and he directed that one. So we'll see. Again, I think both of us are in the same boat on this one. This is a movie nobody's asking for, but we're probably going to get it. So, and we'll see how it goes. But
yeah.
All right. So it's kind of this next question. Actually, the NRDbox portion of the show. This question actually came from our dear leader, Darren. And maybe this movie, the Christmas Story sequel, will fall into it. But so Darren's NRDbox question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where on that scale does a movie become a total shithole? So Morg, tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, where does a movie fall into the total shithole?
That's tough. And we're going with 10 is obviously the best thing you've ever seen, or you could always watch it again because it's fantastic.
So you could say it. Spider-Man
No Way Home is like a 10 for me. I'm going to watch that multiple times when it comes out. I'm upset I haven't gone to the theater again yet.
Right.
And for me, like a 1 is the new Matrix.
Yes. Yes. Agreed.
Now, when it becomes a shithole is a tough question, because in theory, like a shithole is a number 1.
Yes.
But at what scale is we're going down? Is a 5 a shithole? Well, not really, because there's some movies that are a 5, but you enjoy watching them. They're just, but they're bad movies.
Yeah, right.
I would say shithole territory is once you hit 3.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty low. Like we're getting into that.
I think that's where you have a shit. You have a shit show. I think 3 is where you're at a shit show, and then 2 and 1
it's just hell from there. It's just you're hitting the layers from Dante as you go down. Like it's bad. Yeah. No, yeah. I agree. I think 3 is when you hit that level of like, it's just because you're not going to watch a 3 again unless you're watching it like with somebody that's never seen it, to be like, oh, wait until you see this.
Yeah. Like
that's what I think.
Okay, so the Matrix, whatever the new one was called,
Reservations,
Resurrections, Reservations. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. So, and again, on the presents, we're going to talk about is this a franchise that needed to exist? Like really, do we really need more? And my argument is no, you don't. So, but another one that I would put on that list of just a terrible crap hole of a movie was the Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull movie. Like it just
I forgot about that movie.
So bad, so bad.
Bad.
And you watch it, or the Star Wars, the Last Jedi. We just really, I would probably put that Jedi. One. Yeah, the Last Jedi. I'd probably put that in like the 2 or 3. That's a crap show. Like that's just. I don't know that it's necessarily a crap hole, because there are some redeeming qualities to that movie. You get lightsabers and starships and stuff, which I kind of like that part. But yeah, I don't know. It just
and this is one of those things where it really is subjective, right?
It's subjective. Yeah,
subjective, because Erik, you're pointing out like how you would put the Last Jedi shithole territory.
Yeah,
I didn't mind the Last Jedi.
Yeah,
I enjoyed watching it. So now we all know my controversial Star Wars opinions, but
yeah,
I really didn't mind it. Like I wouldn't consider that shithole. So it's really just kind of, it really is subjective of what your own list is.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I wouldn't put that as a crap hole movie. I really wouldn't. I would say it was a crap show. It was like a shit show. Like that. To me, I watched that movie and I was like, that movie's a shit show. It's all over the place, like from a plot perspective and from a character development perspective, it's just all over the place.
Like
even if you're not
a different director.
Yeah, right. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, there's a lot of problems there, whereas I can look at the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and say without a doubt that is a crap hole of a movie.
And I think
and I don't think anybody argues that. Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to go. And same thing with the Matrix, the latest Matrix movie.
There's been some fighting about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, some people didn't mind it. I think if your expectations were like super, super low, and it's not that there weren't any redeeming qualities to the movie. There were some decent performances in the movie, but it was so forced because it's coming up. Yeah, the nostalgia. Yeah, the nostalgia stuff. Again, it just is. It's really bugging me. It's really bugging me. How they just. And I think we've said it before. I don't think, there's a part in the movie where they're talking about brainstorming ideas. And one of the things is that they basically, I don't think they're lying in that part. I think that actually is what happened to them. I think Warner Brothers came to the Wachowskis and said, we're going to make this movie with or without you. Come up with some ideas for us if you want to be involved. And I think that's exactly what ended up happening in this, whatever this is what we got. So, but yeah, so I don't know. I think you're right. I'm going to say the 2 or 1 is where I say it. I say that the shit show is where you get like a 3 or 4, you get like a shit show. Now, I think what would be fun is if we actually had a discussion about B movies, and the different scale. About a different scale for B movies, because, you can watch a movie like, so I'll give you, for example, even though it was a high budget movie, Starship Troopers, is
I would say it's a B movie.
It's a B movie, but it's like a high budget B movie. But you watch it and you're like, gosh, this movie's awful. And I really shouldn't like this movie, but I do, and if it's on TV, I will watch it, like I'll watch it.
It's a fun, entertaining movie.
It's a fun, entertaining movie.
It really is.
And it never takes itself too seriously, it just, Rico and shoot, what's her name when she was hot? Before she went crazy and married Charlie Sheen. What's her nuts? Crap. What's
the hell am I drawing a blank on that name?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyhow, she's super hot. At least in that movie, she was super hot. But let's see. Let me find out. So and then, so I don't know. I think we should definitely do a show on like our favorite B movies.
Oh, that would be a good show.
I think that would be a lot of fun. So Denise Richards.
Denise Richards. Christmas Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Denise Richards was super, super fine in that. And so we'll see. We'll see how. We'll see how all this other stuff kind of shakes out. We got like I said, we got the trailers for Moon Knight, Against the Ice, Amazon Lord of the Rings stuff looks awesome. Picard Season 2.
There's some good stuff.
Yeah, Picard Season 2. We'll see what happens there.
And I got to plug it as a reminder. Isn't Ozark next Friday?
I think it's already out.
What?
Yeah, I think Ozark is. Yeah, I think Ozark is already out.
That's flagging as a nerd.
Yep. Because I actually was a little shocked myself last night, as a matter of fact, when I pulled it up, and I want to say it's already available. So,
dang it.
Which let's see.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yep. So part 1 at least. Oh wait, nope. I don't think it is.
Is it all out there?
No, I don't think it is, because I don't see it yet. So let's see. Anyhow, Ozark Ozark season 4, looking forward to that. That looks friggin' amazing. That talk about messed up. There's some messed up stuff going on in that town.
I know it's out. There's new episodes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
They're all out.
All right. Well,
the first part of season 4 is out. Part 1.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought the first.
All right, sorry, folks, go watch it. I'm going to hammer that out.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, thanks everybody for tuning in to the Nerd Rundown. We appreciate you guys. We really do. Again, if you get an opportunity, it really helps the show if you hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribe to the show on like YouTube or whatever, because
leave a comment.
And leave a comment, because all the interactions and stuff really kind of help promote the show with the AI gods that exist on YouTube and all the other ones. So check us out on Twitter, check us out on TikTok if you're a TikToker. Other than that, have a great rest of your day. If you can tune into the presents, like I said, we're going to go through nerd debates that need to die. Is what we're going to go. We're calling it. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So thank you very much, Mork.
Yeah, thank you for having me as always.
Yeah, it's always fun. It's always a pleasure, man. So we will catch all of you next week on the Nerd Rundown. See ya.
Deuces.
Bye.